You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think we got it worked out.
Okay.
I think you guys met the other night, right?
The night, yeah. Listen, man, I appreciate you coming in. So basically what we're trying to do, we're just trying to get an idea about Jared, who he is, how he was, the dynamic, from we're looking, it's just some stuff that we're looking to kind of get questions or answers to. And obviously you being, and being in that dynamic, you should be able to give us an interesting perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where I would like to start, man, is just how did so I guess we'll go back to the beginning when you met Shanna, right? Like, how did that happen?
So when we met, we were both working for Black Hive, for the CrossFit gym. I was the maintenance guy, and she was a coach. And that's just kind of how it all began. I got introduced to the kids, saw how things were, and for Shanna and I, it was a bit of a unique situation because of the type of person Jared was. Shanna and I, we pretty much sealed the deal very early in the relationship, because there was no way I was going to be able to help her with anything relevant to the kids if we weren't. It was just impossible. So for me and with Shanna, it was very much hey, we can't really have a relationship if your kids don't like me. That started with that.
Right.
And then from there we just moved forward. But then, I guess coming into the kids' lives, and then I remember reaching out to Jared, and I let him know. I was like, I said particularly, it was right after Shanna and I got married. I told him, hey man, now that I'm gonna be in the kids' lives more often, maybe you and I should have a chat. Nothing. I got nothing.
Was that done over phone, text? Text. And he just didn't send you nothing back?
Nope.
Is that the only time you ever tried to reach out to him?
So after that, we were all in a group text message. And there were lots of times where, if you look at, our emails, our text messages, our exchanges, it's very, to me, it's just pestering. It's very annoying. I don't like that. I would much rather do what we're doing right now. We'll all sit down, and if we have something to confront, we'll do it together.
Right.
We can talk about it. I extended that to them plenty of times, where it's like, why don't you guys come over and we'll talk about this, we'll figure something out, something like that. I've even thrown in stuff where it's in regards to, because they're practicing, they're religious and they practice the Mormon religion.
Right.
Shanna has that background, and there are certain things that we could put in play that is just like their religion.
Right.
Where we could do it in a stable place.
Yeah.
Hell no. No way in hell. One of the best things that I got with Jared, I went to pick the kids up one time. This had to have been 3 years ago. I went to go pick the kids up, and I'm not the type to not just knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm here, versus sending a text. So I parked outside, went to go knock on the door. Kids come running out, and they're freaking out. They're losing their shit. They're like, you're not supposed to knock on the door. They're scared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? It's like, well, Dad said no one's supposed to knock on the door. You guys can't knock. And I was like, okay, I can do whatever I want, and he can tell me that.
Yeah.
And I just stood at the door, the kids got out, and I was like, all right, man, you good? I could see him.
Yeah.
He refused to turn around. Liam shut the door. Then I got a text message saying, if I ever knock on his door and come on his property like that he was going to file a restraining order against me.
Was this before you were married?
This is after.
This was after you were married.
Yeah.
So this was after you became a step-parent?
Yep. Yeah.
Were there any instances like that before you got married to Shanna?
Before that, because I was introduced to the kids, and the kids, they would talk about me, that stuff more or less went to Shanna. It wasn't, I never received anything particular. The dude never spoke to me.
Yeah.
The one time where he said, well, actually, no, he didn't even direct anything to me. But the only time we've seen them really in person, outside of when we do the exchanges with the kids or stuff, or the kids are doing something, is when we were in court. They came in, I went to shake their hands, his wife shook my hand, and he just looked right at his lawyer, and just refused to say anything.
Wow.
Yeah, that's rough. That's crazy, man. So outside of court, how many interactions were there? Like, did y'all go to like gymnastics stuff? I know your wife, she's in gymnastics.
So Abigail's in gymnastics, and she hasn't had any performances, but I know that Abigail has told us, like, that he just drops her off and then leaves, goes home, then comes back, even though they live like 5 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because we're so far away, we're in there. I'll go in and I'll let her know. I was like, hey man, you should stop being a chatty Cathy and like practice, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they never stayed. I've gone on their weeks too, and just to like take pictures of Abby and like get progress in, and nothing. The only other time that we had an interaction was Abby was in dance and she had a recital, so we went there. They avoid us like the plague. So
Right.
his parents were there, if I'm not mistaken. They sat completely away. We sat out in the front. Some of Shanna's friends, they were there. They were around us, and on the way out, since it was their week, they were leaving with the kids, so we just walked up to the kids, and we gave Abby flowers, we had Liam give her flowers, and they just sat back, or they stood back, and nothing, not hi, not nothing. There's even been times when Shanna, or the kids would ask to call Shanna, or vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
and if they were in the car with them, there was one particular moment after their first younger sister was born, Bexley, they were so excited to like show the baby.
Right.
And they were all in the car, and then Jared and Kirsten freaked the fuck out. They were like, Liam, no! Like, they didn't want us to see the baby, they didn't want any of that shit, nope.
So how did, obviously in your interactions with kids, you haven't interacted with him that much. How did the kids seem, how did they seem towards Jared?
So, there's a big history, I guess, that I could drop on you guys in regards to the kids and their interactions. That's definitely more something since they've been in therapy since the divorce. Dr. Mercedes McGowan, she's like the best.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been there for all of it. The kids, they have journals that, when they turned 7, I told Shanna, I was like, hey, some of these things that are happening, for them to verbalize it better, or to not forget when they go and talk to the therapist, like maybe we should have them write it down. So for them it was more of like, I'm getting my writing practice in, because that's how I introduced it to them, and it was so that they could have all of their information to give to Dr. Mercedes.
Right.
But a lot of it was, sometimes they would talk about how they were scared to ask him stuff, but I don't think I think it was more of a like, oh, like he's going to say no, so I don't want to ask. But then there were other times where, since it was a 50-50, every other week, if we didn't have the kids, we would go on Wednesdays and go to date night, and we'd have them, before it used to be a 2-hour window, we'd go have dinner.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was that day,
Right.
that Wednesday. He came, picked them up, they went to dinner, dropped them off. So that was normal. But there are plenty of times when, because it's just him at that moment, he'll say specific things to the kids. And we've had to go through a series of roller coasters where, like, he once particularly, Abigail wanted to dye her hair purple. I don't give a fuck, shit's cool, whatever, it looks great, why not do it professionally versus like putting the chalk shit on? That's where my mind is. But she was legitimately scared to ask him and get that rejection. But on top of that, when she did approach it, because I was, it's one of those things where, like, I don't want them to be scared to have that confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you gotta face it head on, and if they tell you no, who cares?
Right.
Best thing that could happen is they say yes, everybody wins. If they say no, well, fuck it, we'll figure out something else.
Right.
Yeah.
So she sits there and asks him, and he then proceeded to tell her that if you do that, first it was well, your hair is beautiful just the way it is. Yeah, but I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, well, God won't like you and you won't be accepted in the church. That's where he deviated, like, damn near immediately.
Yeah, pretty sharp turn there.
He told Liam something similar. Then he told him about the rejection in the church in regards to tattoos. And I know that was a stab at Shanna, because Shanna has a sleeve.
Yeah.
So we had to take the kids to, luckily we're friends with a bishop of the religion that lives down the street from us.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his wife, like, we get along with their families, it's great. And then Shanna was like, you know what, why don't we take you to go talk to the bishop? And here the kids are asking the bishop questions of like, hey, you know, like, we were told that we wouldn't, and, you know, he had to just let them know and reassure them. It's like, you'll always be welcome to come into the church. Like, you will not be rejected for that. And then that turned sour because the kids told Jared, hey, the bishop told us that it was fine.
Yeah.
Jared then, on the following date night, he drove to the church and got into a pissing contest with the bishop. And the bishop, like, the kids were there, so the bishop's like, hey guys, why don't you guys go outside? So he had an entire chat with him and just let him get it all out. And then after the confrontation, you know, he's like, what are you on, man? Why would you not want the mother of your children to succeed so that they could have better?
Right.
That's pretty much where it went, and he just lost his shit. Left. I guess they went to go get dinner, and then he asked the kids to tell them where he lives, and then they drove past his house.
When was that? How long ago was that?
Shit, that had to have been 2 years ago.
2 years?
It was before COVID, so it's definitely 2 years ago.
What's
That's like the timeline before COVID.
Do you know the bishop's name?
I always forget his Curry.
Curry?
That's his last name.
And his church is up here on, is it
On Penman.
Penman?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the bishop, he had to contact legal in regards to the legal portion of the church. You know, kind of notify it.
Why did he have to contact legal?
Because I guess it's because of their interaction and because he drove by his house. It's one of those, like,
yeah, it's kind of weird.
it's weird
Why
as
you
hell.
drove by a house,
You know,
Did it get physical or anything? Or
nope,
just
just very verbal, and then and then he asked the kids to take him and show him where his house is.
Did they tell you? Did he tell you what he said or anything like that?
What did the bishop tell us?
Yeah.
He pretty much told us that he was asking why he would, like, more or less interact and help someone who has left the church, and he was harping on Shanna. That's pretty much where it went. And then for the bishop, it was more of a, again, like, why would you want the mother of your children to fail? You know, why would you not want them to succeed and have the because it's that 50-50. And then, you know, I can barely remember it, but he dropped a verse on him where it's just like, you know, even if you have one sheep that has separated, why would you not go out of your way to get that sheep either back to the flock or just to safety?
Yeah.
So he hit them with that, and he didn't like that shit at all. So.
When you say succeed, you said you keep saying that why would you want her to succeed, Shanna? What do you mean, like professionally or like spiritually or like what?
I guess I don't know if at that point the bishop was talking about like in the spiritual. I don't know if it was a spiritual sense. I'm not him. We have to ask him.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty positive that interaction was more of a why are you helping her? And it's like why would you not want to help her?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So let's come to date night, and you know we're just trying to get an idea about how it works, kind of what happened that night. I know it got shifted because of gymnastics.
Yep.
So, like typically on a typical date night when Jared would come and pick up the kids, how did it go from like start to end?
So he usually pulls up, texts here.
Mm-hmm.
The kids walk out, and we usually watch them get in the car. And then when they come home, they just come in. We've taught them how to have a keypad on the house.
Mm-hmm.
So if the garage is closed, they hit the keypad, or they just come into the garage, and then we know they're home. And usually, like, the dogs lose their shit for a quick second, and we know they're home. And that's it. That's exactly how it goes.
Is there ever any communication about like where they're going or
No.
what they're gonna do or anything like that? Nothing like that.
Nope.
So let's go to that night.
We usually ask the kids,
Mhm.
it's like, hey, what are you guys thinking you're gonna do for date night? Where do you guys want to go eat? That way they can voice that to him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a bit annoying because before we've tried to kind of integrate that where it's like you guys can make choices too.
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, why don't you guys call him Tuesday, so that way you guys can, be like, hey, we want to go here, and that way you have a good shot of going there if that's where you want to go. Because there have been times where like, oh well, I don't want to go there. Or we ended up going to this place and I didn't like it. Blah blah. It's like, why don't you let them know ahead of time? That'll work. It'll help you guys. And then they'll tell them, and then they're like, well, we'll think about it. And then that's not where they go.
So that decision was typically made by Jared without the kids' input?
Oh, yeah.
Was it made, like, almost in spot, like, was he ever take their input, or was it just like, this is my show, I'm running it, I'm doing it?
I don't really know, to be honest. There were some times when it's like, actually I can't even remember any time that the kids were like, oh yeah, we asked to go here and that's where we went.
Yeah.
It was more of, oh, we went to Firehouse, and then they can agree to like Firehouse, so everybody's happy at that moment.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go back to that particular date night, and we're just kind of trying to work his night and figure out everything that happened. So he comes and picks the kids up at what time?
6:30.
6:30. He sends a text message saying,
here.
I'm here. And then the kids run out, get in the car, and they leave.
Yep.
Right. And then what time did they come back?
7:45.
7:45. Okay. And did you see the kids come in?
No, I heard them come in because I was racked out on my couch. So they came in, shut the door, dogs start barking, my dog starts barking, and that's how I know they're there. They come in, hi mom, blah, and they both went upstairs. I got up, went to take a shower. And that's pretty much how we know they're there.
Yeah. So Shanna greeted them when they came in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you said they went upstairs. Did you talk to them at all that night, or?
Shanna did. I was really out of it, and I take gabapentin in high doses, and then at those moments I'm just like zoned out. So like that night, I was more out of it more than anything.
So you wouldn't remember the kids talking about anything that may have happened?
I would have, but I didn't, because they usually, by the time they come home, they get in, they either have another snack. I don't remember any of that because I was in the shower. They'll have another snack, then they'll go and shower and everything else and prep to go to sleep because they're in bed by 9.
Yeah.
So that hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Technically, it was they drink water, they went upstairs, they had free time. Liam comes back downstairs to shower, and we just asked them, like, how's everything? How's date night? Actually, that was it. It was they told us they went to Bearded Pig, and that particular date night was fine, and that was it.
So they didn't remember anything that may have happened at
the only thing they mentioned was that Jared had a phone call and they had to wait in the car. They couldn't go inside yet, so they just had to sit there and wait, and that was it.
This may just show my lack of knowledge of this, but what's gabapentin?
Gabapentin is it's like a nerve blocker.
Okay.
And it's for pain. So they give it to me for pain and for headaches.
Okay. Does it make you like groggy or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah, depending on the amount that you take, like some of the pain numbs out. Like for me, at least, I have a really high dose just because of like stuff that's wrong with me, and they also can't figure it out.
It's not good.
Yeah, it sucks.
And so then I guess at that point, after that, I came and talked to you.
Right. So, but at that point, the kids were already asleep. I think, what did I do? I know I did laundry because there was laundry on the bed, and then I just sat there and I was talking to Shanna about all kinds of things. She was wrapping up an order and she put it outside because she said that her client was coming up to pick up an order that night, which is normal. That has happened before. And then it was more of she was just cleaning and we were just talking. She cleaned the kitchen. She cleaned some of her office, and then you guys rang the doorbell at 1 a.m. We're just getting ready to shut down. And I thought you guys were her client, and you rang the doorbell. And I was like, there's no way that your client just rang the doorbell at 1 a.m. Like, what's going on?
Okay. Have the kids said anything recently in the last couple days of, maybe if they remember something?
Like a confrontation or something at the restaurant.
So,
or someone following them, or
we asked them in regards to, was there anything different? And they just kind of repeated that. All the only thing that really happened was that they had to wait in the car because he was on a business phone call, which, like, we asked him, like, does that happen? And they're like, yeah, sometimes we'll go eat, and then he has to take a phone call, and then he'll be on the phone for the majority of the time. Yeah. And that's just kind of it.
You mentioned something in the very beginning, the type of guy that Jared was. What did you mean by that? Like, tell me, was he like a confrontational person, or no?
No. If I had to ping him, he hated it. He was a keyboard warrior more than anything. Like, because that's what I got. That's all I got for 4 years straight. Is as long as he had a keyboard or he can text it, yeah, he would.
So I'm not going to confront you in person, but I'm going to go home and I'm going to chat it up and say what I want to say.
Because there was one particular time when there was some paperwork for Liam, and he specifically said, "Well, have Liam bring it out." And I'm like, dude, you don't fucking get to tell me what to do. Not in my house. So I walked that paperwork out, and I was like, oh, hey man, this is for Liam, and then check, this is for this. Never made eye contact with me. Just looked at it, took it, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now, his wife, you can have a conversation with her. She'll talk to you or anything, but, like, even if we have a doctor's appointment, if we're there, if Shanna's there, and particularly Shanna, he will walk right outside the door and stand there until the doctor comes in. Then he'll stand at the door, but he will not be in that room to interact or anything at all. It, like, eats him alive inside. And he's said it before, and he's told the kids, he's like, it makes me uncomfortable to be around your mom, and blah, 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 and it's fucking annoying.
Do the four go to the doctor a lot together, or?
We used to, and then everything, of course, changed, but, if I'm readily available, I'll always go. We had one particular instance where all four of us showed up, because they were fighting to not put Liam on additional medication this is for ADHD.
Okay.
And he had shown signs, and he was lacking in school, so Shanna was now pushing it, where it's like, let's get him some help. And the thing that pissed me off the most during that particular interaction is, before we went to the doctor, I asked Liam straight up, I was like, hey man, do you feel like you're struggling in school? And he's like, yeah, I just can't do it. I don't know why I can't just do it.
Right.
So I told him, I was like, hey man, so here's what we're thinking. There's a medicine that might be able to help you focus. So, do you want help so that you can focus in school? And he's like, yeah, like, I'll do it. And for him, he's already on a series of meds, but he's done that pretty much his whole life.
Right.
So it was more of okay, we can add you another medicine. Are you comfortable with it in a sense? Because we want to test it out so that it helps you. And if it helps you, cool, we'll stay on it. And we got to the doctor, and just listening to them talk, they had the dumbest concerns. And if you read the evaluation, because we had to do a parent evaluation, the teachers had their evaluation, and then the doctors have their evaluation.
Right.
Ours, the teachers and the doctors, pretty much in line, the same shit. And if you read theirs, oh, he's a normal kid, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. I'm like, you don't fucking pay attention to your kid.
Right.
And then one of the things that he said during that time was, well, how am I supposed to talk to my kid because, he knows he's special because of his heart, and then, he's going to develop a complex if I have to put him on more medicine. And from Shanna's perspective of how she knows him to be, that particular thing was more of I don't want my kid to be on more medicine because of how it looks on me that my kid is on meds.
Right.
And I just kind of commandeered the moment. I was like, I already talked to Liam. I already talked to him. I asked him if he wants help to focus in school, and there's a medicine that might help him. So he's on board because he wants to do better in school.
Mm-hmm.
So then they fought us because they were like, well, we want to get him evaluated. Great. But if you want that, you're paying for it.
Right.
I'm not paying for that shit because I can give this to him for a week, and if it doesn't work, we can adjust or we can get him off of it. And that's it. I did all the research. It would take like 4 months to get him evaluated, and another month to 2 months to receive all the data and results.
Right.
So we were sitting here like, here you go. These are we gave them everything.
Let's do it the old school way. See if it works. And
It's like here. If you want to do this, this is who you need to talk to. Here are the prices.
Mm-hmm.
We're not paying for it, but also know that Liam is going to suffer because he's waiting for this entire school year to get this shit done. I kid you not, and like Shanna, it's like Shanna's like absolute proof that like he should have been on this routine before, like a long time ago. But he took it, he started taking it, and 1 month later he won the spelling bee. He fucking crushed it. And I'm telling you, if you'd have seen him right before that, there was no way that kid could have pulled it off. It blew my fucking mind. I was like, dude, you did it. Like, you're on it. And he knows and understands it, too. Like, he'll get to school if he missed the pill, and he'll be like, he'll talk to his teacher, like, Mr. Shane, do you know if I took my medicine this morning? It's the fucking funniest shit. And he's like, well, did you? And he's like, I don't think so, because, like, I just can't, like, sit down and stuff. And then get a text to Shanna, and it's like, hey, Liam doesn't think he took his meds this morning. She looks at the table, it's right there. And luckily, the school is right next to us, so we just walk it over, and so it's just one of those things, man. And there's been a lot of other stuff. Liam recognizes a lot of things for himself and for his health, and we've taught him, like, hey, if you're feeling this type of way, you need to bring it to somebody's attention, because he has a heart defect. And then when he gets out of breath, depending on how it goes, and he gets wheezy, he can feel it, and he feels heavy and tired.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been times, there was one particular time, we had just gone to date night with them, and they were on their week, and Liam told us, and we could hear it. You can hear the crackling in his lungs.
Mm-hmm.
So we let him know, hey, bud, go in there and just ask them to have a breathing treatment, and then if you're not feeling good in the morning, ask them to do another breathing treatment in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Good. And we sent a text, too. It's like, hey, Liam's breathing doesn't sound that great, it's like, yeah, he's not feeling good, so make sure he gets a breathing treatment, whatever. We kind of pushed, reinforced it. And when he asked that following morning, because he wasn't feeling good, he said no. He said, take the other inhaler, and that is different than getting the breathing treatment.
Right,
it's
right.
two separate things. And then he sent him to school. He got to school. He still wasn't feeling great. So he told his teacher, and he's like, hey, I asked my dad for a breathing treatment, and he told me no. Can my mom come here so I can get a breathing treatment? And luckily, the teacher that he asked understands that he's on the same style of breathing treatment, or I think his brother was, so he understood it. Mm-hmm. We rush over, get him to sit down, get him a breathing treatment. We bring him some food, and he's feeling better. And Shanna, she was proactive, and it's like, hey, we might want to get this looked at just in case, because we can't afford for Liam to have pneumonia.
Mm.
We can't. That shit, from all of my understanding in regards to Liam and his heart and lung condition, pneumonia will kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So why risk him getting any type of, lack of breathing?
Right.
So Shanna set up for him to go to the doctor and everything else for that same day. They lost their shit, and it's like, why would you do that without notifying us? Blah, blah. And it's like, I'm notifying you right now. And it's like, all you gotta do is pick him up and take him. Or we can take him and then drop him off at your house.
Right.
Nope. They didn't want to do that. And then he said that Liam told us that when they got in the car, he pretty much gaslit him. He told him that he was feeling fine, and that he didn't hear anything wrong with him. And then he told Liam that Liam was lying. So then when he went in and talked to the doctor, Liam told him, Liam was kind of like forcing his cough.
Right.
And then the doctor obviously was like listening to him. He's like, yeah, you're kind of pushing it, bud. And then just relax. And then Liam straight up asked the doctor, like, you can tell that I have a cough, right? But obviously, since we gave him breathing treatment, his lungs are wide open, so he's good at that moment. And it was just a fucking shit show with that. And that's how the interactions go. That's how things with the kids go. Like, and it's a constant back and forth. Abigail is I don't even know if she's gonna do it anymore, but she was taking an interest in being proactive in the church. We thought it was fine. We didn't mind. However, we know that they've implemented certain things on the kids and hovered the church over their head, and that's just not how it should be introduced for a child.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, hey, you know what? If Abigail wants to do it, we can take her on our side over here in our weeks. And Shanna was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, that way I can teach her the difference of how it can be.
Right.
Abigail wanted to get baptized, so we, you know, it's like we told her, it's like, that's fine. You know, just make sure you learn and understand what you're committing to. So as she was learning all that, she was like, oh God, I want you guys to go, and I want to do it at this place, and I want Grandma and Grandpa to go, from Shanna's mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
So she sat there, they went on a date night, and she told Jared, hey, like, this is where I want to do it, and I want, you know, Grandma and Grandpa Gardner to be there, I want Shanna Murray to be there. And Jared just kind of destroyed that vision where he was like, Abigail, this is very important for me. You know, like, I only get to do this once with you. And also, I don't like your grandparents, you know, I can't even remember the reason, what he said. And then he added on, he's like, and I really don't like your mom. And if they're there, they're going to ruin the family trip, is what he told her. And it's just aggravating because all of that was about him and not about her at that moment.
Right.
And Liam wanted to say something. Liam was there. And he wanted to say something, and he felt bad because he didn't say anything. And when he told me about it, I told him, bud, you did the right thing. Because if you would have said something at that moment, he would have freaked the fuck out on you, and that's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so you did the right thing, and thank you for telling me.
Right.
But that's more or less how the interactions with the kids went. There was a lot of fighting. And if you guys were to reach out to Dr. Mercedes, I mean, she can kind of give you the rest because the kids talk about them. And they talk about us, and it's fine because it's that split household thing.
Yeah.
But there have been lots and lots of moments where he just beats into them and then feeds them just wild information. And then when they come back to our house, we're doing damage control.
Mm-hmm.
Damn near every week. It's just a reset. That Monday and Tuesday is always rough because we got to get them back on board. I mean, it shows. It shows in their academics. It shows when they go and talk to people. They'll be like, oh my gosh, your kids, like, they're great. Oh, but I saw them last week. Like, what was wrong?
Right.
And then when you look at their academics, it's the same thing. Throughout the years, they're on their weeks, and you look at whatever they're doing, there's a struggle because there's no assistance.
Mm-hmm.
We had to fight. We had to take them to court to get them into the school. And he argued that we were uprooting the kids and that it was too far for him to drive over there.
Right.
And we flat out told him, it's like, we'll pay for the whole school. It's $15,000 per kid.
Right.
So we told him, like, we'll pay for the whole school and like, you know, we'll need help with some supplies. That's it. Like, that's all we're asking of you. And then how it ended up, like, settling that was Shanna gave up child support, which was a fucking joke. And that pretty much as soon as he stopped having to pay for child support, he was like, okay, well then the kids can go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. But they had real no involvement with the school, nothing like that. I mean, their teachers can also tell you about the interactions with them where it's like, it's normal, but it's not friendly. You know, it's like, oh, we want to know? Okay, great. Like, they can have a conversation with them 100%. But if we're around, shit turns completely different.
So, like, parent-teacher conference and stuff, do they not participate in that, or do they do it separately, or?
They can sign up for a separate time. I think there's only been one time, and it was in the middle of COVID, where we all did it together.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes fine, but they don't sit there to, you know, they do it the roundabout way. So because we're on opposite ends and the teacher's present,
yeah,
if we say something, they will find a roundabout way to ask us a question, but it's through the teacher.
Gotcha. They won't directly address
Hell
you,
no.
basically.
Nope.
Well, it sounds like you guys had a pretty rough relationship for as far as the kids were concerned there.
It was a pain in the ass, man.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, the last thing that was happening on our end in regards with the kids, he was fighting to get the kids off of Dr. Mercedes' care, their therapist. He wanted to end the kids going to therapy.
Okay.
He wanted it to stop. And he was saying that he had never agreed to it, and that they go and tell the kids, or I don't know if he thought that we were in there with the kids. The kids go in there by themselves. We're not in there. We usually go in first and we talk to Dr. Mercedes and we kind of give her an update of like what's going on.
Right.
From there we step out, the kids go in there and they chat with her. And they are just open books in regards to what they tell her. That's on them. And it's just to help them along. Outside of that though, he wanted it to stop because at one point or another, he knew that the kids were talking about him.
So that's why he wanted to stop.
And he wanted it to stop. And then he sent us a thing through his lawyer. We forwarded it to our lawyer, and our lawyer was more or less like, is this real? Is this serious? And our lawyer legitimately told us that he ignored it because he didn't think it was serious. And like he waited out the time.
Right.
So then they went in, he went back in and got serious. It was like, I haven't received a response and blah, blah, blah. And we asked our lawyers, like, hey, can you respond to this? Because this is getting out of hand now, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
Our lawyer was prepared to be like, I hope this goes forward so I could just crush him in court.
Yeah.
We were hoping that he was going to push it so that we could file a social investigation against him. Because up to pretty much this point, the primary goal, because it wasn't amicable and because of how they're being with the kids, we were more or less fighting for the kids to have a chance and for Shanna to have majority decision making. And if she could have more timeshare on her end, if it was like 60-40 or whatever, if we could bend it just enough, it'd be great because the kids would be better off.
Right.
You know, and if we could push them into the corner of all the interaction with the kids, we all need to be together.
Yeah.
So they could just suck it. And I don't care if they're suffering because they're uncomfortable. I'd much rather it all be right there in one, so if they say something dumb, I can I'm confrontational. I don't care about that. So I could be like, no, hell no, dude, we're not doing that.
Right.
And I can shut him down, and the kids can see, hey, like, not this. We can do it this way,
right.
And we'll all be here. So there's no, oh well, they said no. That shit was just so annoying to me. But that's what we were fighting for, and I was hoping that, like, hey, all right, I'm prepared. We got everything we kind of need. If he pushes for this therapy thing, it'd be absolutely hilarious because we'll get crushed, and then we could push for a social investigation.
Yeah.
Was there an incident? I'm talking about kids, man. Was there an incident with Jared and Liam involving something with Valentine's Day, chocolate in the bed or something like that?
I don't know about that particularly. I'm pretty sure that sounds kind of like Liam, like he would steal chocolate and eat it. He does that. He'll like sneak into our pantry like early in the morning before people wake up, and he'll go in there and like he's been caught at our house. I'm pretty sure he's done that similar over there.
Yeah.
I don't know anything specific about
So you didn't
that.
hear anything about. Okay. And then my other question, man, and it's about my last question. Now, knowing Jared and knowing, kind of who he is and knowing what happened, what do you think happened to him?
Oh, shit, man. I mean, it's a big speculation. Like, Shanna's parents came to spend time with Shanna and the kids, and help them throughout all of this. And, when you guys showed up, I felt like everything you guys asked were, like, pretty basic questions. Like, substance abuse, did he have any enemies, stuff like that. But it's one of those things where it's just like, man, you need to get in line. Because I know people that don't like him. I told you I don't like him in particular. I don't care for that dude. But as far as, like, I haven't heard anything directly out of you guys. Like, I haven't been told anything. It's just what you can read and what you can find online.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't understand why he got out of the car. The only thing I can think of is he knew somebody that was right there in front of him, Because I can't think of any other reason for you to get out of your vehicle. If someone approaches your vehicle and you don't know them, or they want to get in your car, you're just going to speed away.
Right.
Or if they're in front of you, shit. Or, like, you know, if something's about to go down right in front of you, I'd rather run that person over. I will 100% just hit the gas. If I don't know them,
Yeah.
there's no reason to get out of the car. None. I can't. So outside of that, outside of he knew who was there or whatever, I don't know enough about the guy to know what he's involved in or what he could have been involved.
Who, you just said you knew a bunch of people who didn't like him, like who?
Shit, man. I mean, like, people from his church.
From his church down in St. Louis County?
Yeah. Like, and it's a lot because of the people that know Shanna, and because those same people that know Shanna, for instance, right now, he passed away, so his wife, I'm pretty sure Shanna told you, but his wife texted Shanna that they could come and pick up the kids for their ceremony, for the funeral, and that they would drop them off when they were done. And it was like, we're going because we're going to be with the kids. And
that makes perfect sense.
And they're going to stand right next to us. Yeah. And we even spoke to the therapist about it. It's like, Shanna's the mom. You're not going to take that away from the kids or from Shanna. And we want them to go because they have to have that closure. They have to have something to let go of, and then you say their goodbyes, pay respects. I was all in for that. She straight up was like, you are not welcome here. You've been vile to him and blah, blah, blah. And it's crazy because when we let her come into our house, that following morning after you told us, when we were going to break the news to the kids, she asked, she's like, could I be there when the kids, when you tell the kids? And we were like, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Right.
So it's like beyond that, like friends of Shanna that still practice and are in that church, they also received notice that they are not allowed to attend the public service for Jared. And it goes like that. It's more of like people that know of Jared through Shanna and have experienced who Jared is, they don't like him.
Right.
So that's kind of where the list goes. It's more of like through Shanna's contacts, and it's like it's not even her friends or closer circle of friends. It's like acquaintances.
Right.
Shanna used to be a teacher. A lot of those kids go through that church, so like she knows them from those interactions where it's like, oh, I know this mom. I used to teach her kid. Hey, we can have a friendly chat. All of a sudden, they are alienated because they had a chat with Shanna, so they can't have anything to do with the family, with right. Jared's family. And even right now, the kid's grandparents, Jared's parents, they came all the way from Germany. Not one of them has contacted us to ask us about the kids. Not one.
Yeah.
And that also happened to Jared's brother. Jared's brother left the church, so they 100% nixed him. Him and his kid, so the other grandchild, they pretty much don't exist. And that's just kind of how the family tree is in that sense. And then right now, Kirsten, to me, well, she writes his emails, and we can tell the difference. Right. We know it's her. And like right now, she doesn't have any leash anymore because there's no restriction, and she's just being a total bitch.
Kirsten is?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Like, for her to tell Shanna that she can't go and that she can come and pick up the kids and they'll return them at their own leisure or whatever.
It seems a little unfair considering if you guys let her come into
exactly.
your house and be there and...
Man, it's super annoying because even when she showed up to the house, we told her, like, we're going to have a chat outside before you come in.
Yeah.
Make sure we're all on the same page. So one of the first things that comes out of her mouth is like, I know that over the years it's been rough, but, I want you guys to know that Jared did love you guys and always wanted to be friends. And I'm sitting there like, I was looking at Shanna, and I was just like, Shanna told me to not say anything, so I didn't.
Right.
I was like, I'll be nice just because of what's happening, and the kids are more important. But at that point, I just want to be like, shut your mouth, because you're lying, and do not come in my house with that bullshit and say some stupid shit to the kids.
Right.
So we just kind of deviated. Shanna deviated that moment and was like, we just want to make sure that she said it. She's like, I am going to let the kids know what happened, and we're gonna leave the floor open for them to ask questions because the questions are gonna pour in. We're gonna keep it simple. So we sat around my table. Shanna let them know. The kids had their moment, and they started asking questions, and I opened it up. After that, I did the follow-up because Shanna was crying. And then it was what's going to happen, like, with our little sisters, because I have 2 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So we let them know, we reassured them, it's like, as long as Kirsten's available and, we can settle on times and stuff like that, like, we'll take you. And we've taken the kids to their house so they could see their sisters in this, it's been almost, 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
In this, the very first, like, within the first 3-4 days.
How did that go? When you went over there?
Well, here's the other part. So, she knew we were coming, and we gave her a heads up,
Mm-hmm.
and she texted Shanna, and she said, well, I don't know if she said I want to keep it brief, but she said, it's been very overwhelming right now, so, we also let her know that, my in-laws were with us, so we didn't want to impose, so we'll make it brief. The kids, Abigail made like an entire basket, a gift basket of like, here, have this, and this is for their little sisters and stuff like that, and we pull up to the house. Her parents are there. They have 2 friends there. The kids are playing in the front yard. It didn't seem very overwhelming at all, or like she was alienating anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
We had a conversation with her parents. Her mom was very, like, again, it's like, it's a speculation, but it's like, she didn't seem to care about Jared because they're from Seattle.
Right.
And she was just like, stuff like this happens. That's exactly what came out of her mouth. And she's sitting there talking to my in-laws. But then she, like, rerouted the entire thing, and her mom started talking about, we lost one of our grandsons in Texas, and that's when she got emotional. But it was no direction of anything with Jared.
Right.
And then when we told her that Kirsten had told us, like, she told us she was overwhelmed, so we don't want to impose and be here for too long. And her mom just looked confused as hell. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. And then now, after the funeral thing, we are doing our own thing with the kids. Shanna yesterday had the kids write letters, and we burned them, and we took the ashes, and Shanna took out the kids to the beach so they could bury them.
Mm-hmm.
And in like another, not this weekend, but the following weekend, we're gonna do more or less like a celebration of life, and give some time for Shanna's family to come here to Florida because they're all from Utah, and we're all gonna spend time with the kids and let them know, like, hey, like, you have a support system. We're all here for you guys.
Right.
We like this, and this is gonna be our normal, more or less. But it's been hella weird. It's super weird what happened to him. I can only like imagine certain weird shit. But for sure, for someone to get out of the car, like, that shit makes no sense.
Right.
I do not get it.
Yeah. It's weird for sure.
Everything is like, someone was there waiting for him, and he definitely knew them. 100%. Because even if they were in front or they were behind him, whatever the hell, if he knew them and there was about to be trouble, he could just back that car up and get the hell out of there.
Right.
Or if they were behind him, he just floored it. Or if they were on foot, he could have floored it. I'm sitting here thinking of situations how would I handle something that's about to endanger me, and I have my kid in the back? Hell no.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But what happened with him is strange. His family, they're acting like assholes. Kirsten's an asshole right now. Like, I just don't like any of them right now. I'm more focused on trying to get a routine, not just for the kids, but also for Shanna, because she's overwhelmed in the sense of she's trying to absorb all the kids' emotions when they are feeling overwhelmed. Like, they're having nightmares, shit like that, and I expect that.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's also like certain things are happening where it's like, oh, well, we're going to do this, and it's we don't have to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't have to do that anymore because there's no split. There is no, we have to do it our way and walk on eggshells because they're going to go back to their house and they have their way.
Right.
It's just our way, and I have to, like, remind Shanna, it's like, hey, you got to get a hold of this and, like, instill your discipline now because that's what the kids are going to know.
Right.
And it's that has been the most difficult part. The kids, they have bounced back pretty well because they're not there every day, so they're not getting bombarded with the mourning of it every single day. They've been able to move forward, and like the school has been great, being that it's a private school and it's a lot smaller. Like the head of the school is involved, and she knows about the kids. She introduced them to a grief counselor, and we have access to that resource because of the school.
Right.
We have access to those teachers, and they love the kids. And that was another thing that happened. Kirsten called the school, talked to the headmistress, literally yelled at her for putting out information to the parents, which we gave to the school. We let them know, like, hey, the kid's dad passed away. Please inform the teachers, so that way they can pass it on to the parents. That way their kids aren't insensitive to our kids.
Of course.
And we can prepare our kids better so they can get back in their routine of going to school. And when she released the letter, the head of the school, Kirsten lost her shit. She yelled at her, like, how dare you, like, I'm gonna instill some law where you can't pass that information. She's like, I'm gonna sue the school. And then when the head of the school told us about it, we were just like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah. Maybe just emotions, I guess, I don't know. But,
I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it. A lot of this, I would say, the only thing that I am concerned about is I don't know what Jared was into, so I don't know if this is going to affect us in any way outside of coming here to talk to you guys. We don't mind. That's fine, because we don't know shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, since we don't know anything, how does that affect my family right now?
Of course.
And it's been a concern for my parents, or for my in-laws, because of the fact that, like, they're wealthy people, and it's anything to do with Jared has always been more or less he doesn't like Shanna, and everything else that they dealt with was about money.
Right.
During the divorce, my in-laws, they paid for his school, and they've paid for all the son-in-law's school, because they have nothing but daughters.
Right.
And he tried to sue them because his lifestyle was about to change during the divorce. So it's just like a lot of the stuff with him, and I guess, and from what they know of him, he was very money driven,
right,
in that sense. But anything past that, we just don't know shit. How could this affect Shanna and the kids? I don't know. I don't know if he was involved with something that is to deal with money, and now because he's gone, is this going to affect Shanna in some way, shape, or form? You know.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to tell you that we have all the answers, but we don't.
Right. Everybody's just kind of lost right now, and like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know anything else that I can answer for you guys. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if I find something out that I can give some concrete information, I'll let you know. But
please.
Right now, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But hey, thank you so much for coming down. I know it's not what anyone wants to do, come spend their day with us, but
no,
we do appreciate it.
And trust me, we get it. Like when Shanna told me, she said, "Hey, one of the detectives just called me and they want to talk to us." So like, I was like, "Well, I can't do it right now. They're always welcome." I was like, "Could they come over? Like, you guys have come over before, and we're right there."
Yeah.
I thought you meant downtown.
No.
By the way, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, we're gonna have to make time."
Yeah.
You know. So that's why we pushed it for today.
Yeah.
And then the rest of that was Shanna was like, well, what could we tell them? And I told her, I was like, we tell them what we know,
yeah.
which is our interactions with Jared, how Kirsten is being a total bitch right now, and how this has been. For me, this has only been for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
For Shanna, it's been like 7, 8 years. And then before the divorce, it was everything that she dealt with him.
Right.
So...
Yeah. Well, like I told Shanna, we don't know what we don't know until we know it, so we don't know what's going to help and what isn't. So
right.
At this point, we're just trying to get to know Jared, because if he was into something, the only way we're going to find out about it is to find out his background
right.
and stuff. So.
Right.
But we really do appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Walk you out.